Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Murray, and welcome to 292 Baby. Joining me today is Mary Whittier, Executive Director of the Bivona Child Advocacy Center. We're going to be talking about a serious topic, and it's one that your children need to hear, but they don't need to hear it right now. So if you have kids in the room or watching this video with you, please either push pause or ask them to step out of the room. All right, so what we're going to do is talk about your body and what we need to do to describe our body and how we can keep kids healthy and hopefully prevent them from being victims of abuse. So Mary, as a pediatrician, I hear all sorts of terms. Kids will come in and they'll say they're wee-wee, they're hoo-ha. All sorts of terms are used to describe our private parts, and that makes me worry. I feel that if kids know their body part, it helps kind of empower them if we're not afraid to use the right words. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, Elizabeth. We've been talking about this for years. Yeah. And at Bivona Child Advocacy Center, where we provide comprehensive services to kids that have been sexually abused, it is one of the things that we talk to parents about all the time. We wouldn't call our ears our toenails, and we wouldn't call our elbows our knees, right?
That's true. Right,
so let's call our vagina our vagina. Let's call our breasts our breasts. Let's call our penis, and our butt or buttocks bottom, you know, that kind of thing. It does a number of things. Number one, to call it something that it's not continues to fulfill and feed that, ooh, it's naughty or bad words.
True.
As opposed to, no, this is our vagina, just like this is my belly button and this is my shoulder.
Right.
So parents, we really, really, really want you to use the correct terminology. And there's a number of reasons for that. Number one, there is no shame in our body parts. It makes us who we are in terms of our privates. And
we all have them.
We all have them.
Right?
We all either have a vagina or a penis, right?
That's a common thing.
So it's okay to say that. And then kids feel comfortable with their body, and they may giggle or, you know, that laugh. And we tell parents, start young.
Right.
I have two children. We started in the bathtub when they were about a year and a half, 2 years old. Okay, what do you call this, and what do you call this, and what do you call
There
these?
was a long phase in my house of the vagina. She just couldn't say it, the vagina.
It's okay, but she got it. She got it.
Yeah.
And so you start there, because it's non-threatening. It's not like, you know, your child comes home from preschool and you say, now we're going to sit down and talk about your body parts.
Right.
No, you do it when it makes sense. So bathing is a great time to do that. And a lot of that, too, is not only to have kids feel comfortable and being able to articulate what their private parts are called, but God forbid anything happens to them.
Right.
And if we look at the research, 1 in 10 children, by the time they turn 18, will suffer some form of sexual abuse. So this is far more prevalent.
I can think of 10 kids right now.
That's exactly right. And far more prevalent than juvenile diabetes, H1N1, all sorts of other medical diseases. So we need to teach kids this so that they can, if God forbid anything happens, they can say to mom or dad or the pediatrician, someone touched my vagina, someone licked my butt, someone rubbed my penis. That kind of thing, so that it's very clear. And certainly when we at Bivona Child Advocacy Center do investigations and we talk to children, we don't ever want to make assumptions. So we always talk to children about what they call their body parts. And so you're right, lots of different interesting names that people use. And so that can really, God forbid, again, if we ever go down the road of having to have a case investigated, can really be a challenge for some of the people doing those interviews to figure out, you know, what children are identifying really as their penis and vagina.
Right, they have to use the right terms. And so if they have to testify, if they have to make statements, we want to be crystal clear about what happened to them.
Absolutely, because we really want to, the other thing is, we want to believe our children, and we want to listen to our children. And I guess one thing I would say, too, to the parents listening is, if your child ever comes and says to you, whether they use the right terminology or not, but if they ever say, I don't want to go back to Uncle Sam's house, well, why not? He makes me, he's a creepy, or he's a creeper, you know, the creeper is like the big word now, or he touches me. People, please listen to that. Please listen to that. So many times we are told by children, well, I said something to mom or dad, or I said something to my grandma, or I said something to my aunt, and they just sort of blew it off, or they ignored it, or they just said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Kids that have been sexually abused have an advanced knowledge of things that they shouldn't at the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, that they really shouldn't. And so we need to listen to our children more.
And I think of it too that, you know, as a parent, you think, well, what if I'm wrong? I'm afraid if I said something and I'm wrong. And then but you know what, if you turn it around, you think, imagine how scared that child is.
Absolutely. And if you're wrong, what if you're right?
What if you're right?
We always say, err on the side of caution. Err on the side of caution. We would rather have you call us at Bivona or make a report to the hotline and have something looked into and find out, you know what, this was a big misunderstanding. We've had situations like that at Bivona. And I'll tell you, families have so much relief from that. But to just sort of ignore it or minimize it or blow it off is not helping kids. And that when I talk about 1 in 10 children, less than 1 in 10 children ever discloses a child. And so much of that is because, number one, 90% of kids are molested by someone that they know, love, and trust. But also, if they disclose and they're kind of, you know, dismissed, they're not likely to say anything again.
All right, so God forbid a disclosure is made, parents are calling who?
Parents can do one of two things. They can call Bivona Child Advocacy Center at 935-7800, or they can call the Child Abuse Hotline. The number is 461-5690, or they can call the state hotline, which is in the front of the phone book.
Okay, and we'll have more information about this on 292 Baby as well. Thank you for joining us today.